I want to welcome you to St. Columbanus Church. My name is Father Matt O'Donnell. I'm blessed to serve as the pastor here at St. Columbanus. You know, together as a parish over these last months, we've been focused together on this theme of radical hospitality. We've been thinking together as a parish how we are called to grow as a people of radical hospitality. We had a sermon series on it. You've heard from Dr. Mark Nemo and from Jennifer Reed, our pastoral associate. But today I'm standing here at the doors that lead into the sanctuary of our church. And I couldn't help but think about the letter to the Hebrews in chapter 13 and verse 2, where it says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it." Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers. For by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. I think this scripture that we're reflecting on together from Hebrews is a powerful way for us to be thinking about what radical hospitality is meant to be. How we are called as individuals to a life of radical hospitality, to how we as a parish are called to be living this life together. You know, so much of the welcome that happens when we gather together as a community of faith happens at doors like this. That as people come to church, as you come to church, as you pass through this threshold, as you come through these doors, hopefully you hear our greeters welcoming you, wishing you a good morning, telling you how happy they are to see you here. It's a practice that I think we could do more of here at St. Columbanus. But it's a practice that all of us are called to be doing as disciples. As we recognize this great call that we have to live as a community, that we don't live for ourselves, that our life of faith isn't just about us as individuals, but it's about us together as a family, as a parish community. The word that we have from Hebrews is reminding us that part of why we are called to be so radically hospitable is because we don't always know who we welcome. The scriptures, if you go back to the book of Genesis and you read chapter 18, verses 1 through 3, you'll hear the story of Abraham as he's sitting, and these individuals appear before him and they turn out to be angels. Or read Genesis chapter 19 and verses 1 through 3, and you'll hear again the story of Lot, who finds himself in a similar situation. In our tradition, the angels are the ones who appear in people's lives at moments to give a great message, to deliver a message from God. So Hebrews, the author of Hebrews, is telling us that we should welcome the strangers that are among us because at different points in history, that welcome has been to the angels. I think about the people who come here to St. Columbanus Church. I think about the people who have never stepped foot in this church, who have never passed through the doors and entered into our sanctuary. It's amazed me over the last 7.5 years that I've been here. I hear the stories of people who have lived in Park Manor, who have driven by our church on 71st Street, who have seen this place for decades, but never stepped foot through the doors. I've heard the story of one of our parishioners who the very first time that they walked through our doors, they were greeted in such a way that it brought about a conversion in their life and actually led them to join our parish community. It's in this welcome that people could come to know that they belong, that in this sanctuary, there's a place for them. We're called to welcome whoever it is that walks through these doors. I mean, I just invite you to think about your own experience, your own story, that first time that you were here at St. Columbanus, or the first time you walked through the doors of a church. How did you feel? Were you made to feel welcome? Or were you made to feel as if you're a stranger? Were you made to feel that this is a place where you belong? Or did you just feel that you might just pass through? We have the power as a community, as a people of faith, as a parish, to welcome the strangers and to let them know that all of us have a place here in God's house. Friends, this is part of our mission. Pope Francis keeps reminding us that we are called to create a culture of encounter. That we're called to accompany one another. That we are always called to bear witness to God's love in our world. It all starts right here, at the doors of our church, and the ways that we interact with one another, in the welcome that we give to each other. It might seem like it's so simple. It might seem so obvious that when you come here to church that someone should greet you, that you should greet the people that are around you. But I think we all know the stories of far too many people who have come into houses of worship like ours and made to feel like strangers. Look, if we want to be a community of radical hospitality, then we have to put everything that we are talking about into practice. And so the question I have for you today is it's this: how can you be more welcoming? What is it that you can do in your life, in your family, among your friends, when you come here to St. Columbanus, when you worship with your own community of faith? What is it that you can do to be more welcoming? Because as the author to the Hebrews tells us, you just might not know who it is that you're giving that welcome to. They might look like a stranger, but it can be one of God's angels. How amazing will it be for us if we really think together as individuals and as a parish, how we could take on more traits, how we can take on more to be a place of radical hospitality, so that no matter who walks through these doors, they know that this is a parish to which they can belong. God bless you.